You've been dying slowly, cell by cell, thought by thought, and the terrifying part? You didn't even notice. Hey, before we go too far tonight, let me ask you something simple. Or maybe not so simple. Let's say there's this ship, an old wooden beauty, built with care, sailed for years. And over time, the sea does what the sea does. It wears things down: salt, wind, storms, time. So, one by one, the planks start getting replaced. First the rotting boards, then the sails, eventually the mast, the hull, even the wheel, until not a single piece of the original ship remains. Now here's the question. Is it still the same ship? Really? Think about that for a second. Same name, same shape, same purpose, but not one molecule left from the beginning. Still feels like it's the same, right? But now, imagine someone else takes all the old planks, the discarded ones you replaced, and builds another ship. Same materials, different hands, different time. Which one is the real ship of Theseus? And maybe a better question, what makes something itself? Now zoom in on your own life. Your body has been replaced too, not all at once, but slowly, cell by cell, moment by moment. The skin you're in tonight is not the skin you had 10 years ago. Your bones, your blood, even your memories have changed. So are you the same person you were as a child? What about yesterday? What about 5 minutes ago? If every part of you has shifted, evolved, aged, rewritten itself, is the you lying here now just a new version? And if someone collected all your past selves, the way you used to think, feel, dream, and built a replica, would that be more you than the one who's still breathing now? We like to believe in something constant, something solid inside us. But maybe we're not built to be one thing. Maybe we're more like rivers, always flowing, always moving, but still called by the same name. Maybe identity is more story than substance, more memory than matter. Maybe the only thing that stays the same is that we keep going. And right now, you're exactly where you're supposed to be in that story. Not the beginning, not the end, but a quiet, drifting moment, somewhere in between. Let's stay there for a while and breathe. Think of it, two people, partners in crime, or maybe just caught in a tough spot. They're arrested and separated, each alone in a small room. The police offer each a deal. If you betray your partner, you go free, and they get a long sentence. If both stay silent, you both get a short sentence. If both betray, you both get moderate sentences. It's a tough choice. Do you trust the other or protect yourself? This is the prisoner's dilemma. It's not just about criminals or cops. It's a mirror for life. How often do we face situations where trust feels risky, where cooperation might help us all, but fear pushes us towards selfishness? The dilemma shows how fragile trust can be and how much we need connection. It also highlights the tension between self-interest and the common good. In relationships, communities, even within yourself, you wrestle with this balance every day. Do you hold back, afraid of betrayal? Or do you risk openness, even when the outcome is uncertain? Tonight, as you lie here, think about your own choices. The times you trusted, the times you hesitated. There's no right answer, only the human experience of grappling with vulnerability. And that's okay, because even in doubt and fear, you can find strength. You can find compassion for yourself and others. So breathe slowly. Feel the warmth of connection. Know that, in the quiet of night, you're not alone. You are part of a larger story, one of trust, risk, and hope. Rest now. Let go of fear, and allow yourself to be held. Let's go deeper tonight, not just into sleep, but into the edges of what you call reality. Right now, you're lying in bed. You feel the weight of the blanket. You hear the soft hush of my voice. Maybe your room is dim. Maybe there's a glow from a street lamp outside. Maybe you're just beginning to drift. But wait, what if none of this is real? What if everything you're seeing, hearing, feeling, this voice, this bed, this whole world, is nothing but an illusion being fed into your mind? Imagine your brain floating in a jar, a simple glass vat, somewhere in a lab you've never seen, surrounded by wires, pulsing with signals. And those signals? They're feeding you this exact experience: touch, Sound, emotion, memory, all just electrical impulses, artificially created. How would you know the difference? If the simulation is perfect, if the data entering your brain is identical to what real life would give you, then to you, it feels real. It is real. Because your reality isn't out there. It's in here, inside your mind. So let me ask you this. If you can't tell the difference between the dream and the real, does the difference still matter? What if right now, you're not listening from a bedroom, but from inside a controlled environment, a container of consciousness? You wouldn't be able to prove otherwise. The philosopher Hilary Putnam once posed this question, not to scare us, but to make us think. What is knowledge if we can't even trust our own senses? It's a strange kind of loneliness, isn't it? The idea that your world might just be a projection, like light flickering in a theater, convincing you the story is solid, when it's really just shadows. But here's the comforting part. Even if it's all simulated, your feelings are still real. Your longing, your laughter, your love, they arise from within you. No one can fake that, no matter how many wires they plug in. So even if your brain was in a vat, this moment, right now, this quiet, thoughtful, drifting moment, it still belongs to you. Not the lab, not the program, not the vat. You. And maybe that's what being human really means, not being able to prove what's real, but being able to feel what matters anyway. Let that thought cradle you tonight. You don't have to figure it all out. You don't need to prove anything. Just breathe and let go. Okay, now let's stretch the mind a little further. Not just your mind, but the whole universe. Close your eyes for a second. Picture the stars, millions of them, then billions. Galaxies spinning like ancient clocks, nebulas birthing suns, black holes swallowing time itself. Kinda hard to wrap your head around, right? But what if I told you all of that? The entire cosmos could be just code. Digital, simulated, artificial, like a video game, but on a whole other level. So complex, so detailed, so seamless, it fools everyone living inside it. That's what the simulation hypothesis is about. And it's not just some sci-fi daydream anymore. Philosophers, scientists, even tech billionaires, they've all started asking the same wild question. Could this reality, everything we see, feel, taste, even believe, be a kind of cosmic software? A simulation so perfect, we forget we're even in it? I mean, think about how far we've come in just a few decades, from Pong to photorealistic virtual worlds. Now imagine what kind of simulations we could be running in 1,000 years or 10,000. If a future civilization had the tech to simulate entire realities, wouldn't they at least try? And if they did, how would we ever know we were inside one? It's a bit unsettling, isn't it? The moon you see outside your window tonight might just be a digital projection. Your memories, your fears, that first kiss you still think about sometimes. What if they're just lines of code in some hyperreal script? But here's the twist. If this really is a simulation, that means something built it. Someone wrote the rules. The physics, the beauty, the heartbreak. So then, is there a reason for it all? A purpose? A player behind the curtain? Or is it just raw data, running wild, looping forever? And that brings us back to you. Are you the player, or just a character in the game? Are you actually making choices, or are the choices just showing up, one by one? But here's the thing. If the emotions you feel are real, if the love you hold is real, if the tears you cried last week were real enough to burn, does it even matter? Maybe reality isn't about what's under the surface. Maybe it's about how it feels to be here, right now, lying in the dark, breathing, listening. You don't have to know if it's real. You just have to live like it matters. And maybe, just maybe, that's the only kind of proof we ever really need. All right. I want you to picture something. You're standing by a train track. It's quiet. The sun's low in the sky. And then you hear it. That low rumble. A trolley's coming fast, and it's headed straight for 5 people tied to the track. They can't move. They don't even see it coming. And if nothing changes, they're gone. But then, you spot a lever. If you pull it, the trolley switches tracks where there's just one person tied down. 5 lives or 1. Do you pull it? Feels simple, right? Kinda utilitarian. Save the many, sacrifice the few. But now, let's complicate it. Let's make it human. What if that one person on the other track is someone you know, someone you love, your partner, your mom, your child? Does your hand hesitate now? And what if it's not just pulling a lever anymore? What if you had to push someone, with your own hands, onto the track to stop the trolley and save the others? Still 5 versus 1. But now it's personal. It's raw. It's real. See, the trolley problem isn't really about trains. It's about the weight of decisions, the tension between logic and love. It asks, can morality be measured like math? Can one life be traded for another like currency? And here's the deeper twist. We live versions of this dilemma every single day. When we buy cheap clothes made in sweatshops, when we scroll past stories of pain and keep moving, when we pick comfort over compassion, aren't we just standing at a lever? We can't save everyone. We can't carry every burden. But we're always choosing. And sometimes, we forget that not choosing is a choice. Now take a breath with me. Let that land, not to weigh you down, but to remind you, you have power. And power doesn't always mean action sometimes. It's about awareness. Knowing when to step in, when to step back, and when to just sit with the weight of being human. Life's not made of easy choices. It's made of impossible ones. But if you feel the conflict, if you feel the ache in your chest, that's something beautiful. It means you have empathy. It means you're alive. And tonight, that's enough. Let the trolley fade into the distance. You're not here to save the world right now. You're here to rest, to breathe, to just be. Let's journey now to a place both familiar but utterly strange. Picture this, a planet almost exactly like Earth. Same mountains, same oceans, same trees, and yeah, even the same people. But here's the twist. On this twin Earth, what they call water isn't actually H2O. It's something else entirely. Some unknown substance that looks like water, tastes like water, acts like water, but chemically, it's not. Still, to the people there, it is water. It quenches their thirst, fills their rivers, pours from their skies. But that gets you thinking, right? Is their water the same as ours? Are their rivers like our rivers? Is their word, water, even carrying the same meaning as ours? Or is meaning just something we all agree on? A shared understanding, built through culture and experience? It makes you stop and wonder, how much of what we believe is real is actually shaped by the language we speak, the world we grew up in, the stories we've been told? And that idea, man, it goes way beyond water. Think about your sense of self, your ideas of love, fear, happiness, even truth. Are those things really solid? Or are they shaped by your environment, by how you were raised, by what you've seen? Maybe meaning isn't just about cold hard facts. It's about connection, a dance between your mind and the world around you, between what happens and how you interpret it. And maybe, just maybe, realizing that can help us show up with a little more kindness. Because if what you feel is shaped by your life, then what someone else feels, that's shaped by theirs. Every single person is walking around with their own version of reality. So when someone disagrees with you, or feels joy or pain in a way you don't understand, it's not just their opinion. It's their whole world. And maybe the real bridge between us isn't being right. It's having compassion for that difference. So tonight, as you wind down and drift towards sleep, think about your own twin Earth, the one that lives inside you. That private little world no one else can see. The colors you feel. The sounds only your heart hears. That world is yours. It's unique. It's beautiful. And it's enough. Breathe deep. Let that truth hold you. And rest easy. The world is quiet now, and so are you. Outside, the night hums softly, like a distant ocean. And in this stillness, a thought begins to rise, simple at first, but deeper the longer you sit with it. Before we go too far tonight, let me ask you something simple. Or maybe, not so simple. Let's say there's this ship, an old wooden beauty, built with care, sailed for years. And over time, the sea does what the sea does. It wears things down. Salt, wind, storms, time. So one by one, the planks start getting replaced. First the rotting boards, then the sails, eventually the mast, the hull, even the wheel, until not a single piece of the original ship remains. Now here's the question, is it still the same ship? Really? Think about that for a second. Same name, same shape, same purpose, but not one molecule left from the beginning. Still feels like it's the same, right? But now, imagine someone else takes all the old planks, the discarded ones you replaced, and builds another ship. Same materials, different hands, different time. Which one is the real ship of Theseus? And maybe a better question, what makes something itself? Now zoom in on your own life. Your body has been replaced too. Not all at once, but slowly, cell by cell, moment by moment. The skin you're in tonight is not the skin you had 10 years ago. Your bones, your blood, even your memories have changed. So are you the same person you were as a child? What about yesterday? What about 5 minutes ago? If every part of you has shifted, evolved, aged, rewritten itself, is the you lying here now just a new version? And if someone collected all your past selves, the way you used to think, feel, dream, and build a replica, would that be more you than the one who's still breathing now? We like to believe in something constant, something solid inside us. But maybe we're not built to be one thing. Maybe we're more like rivers, always flowing, always moving, but still called by the same name. Maybe identity is more story than substance, more memory than matter. Maybe the only thing that stays the same is that we keep going. And right now, you're exactly where you're supposed to be in that story. Not the beginning, not the end, but a quiet, drifting moment, somewhere in between. Let's stay there for a while and breathe. Think about this. There's a machine that can give you the perfect life. Every joy, every thrill, every success you've ever dreamed of. Love, happiness, excitement, all without any pain or struggle. You plug in, and it feels totally real. You live out your wildest fantasies, your deepest desires, and every single second is pure bliss. But here's the catch. It's all an illusion. None of it is real in the outside world. It's just an experience, a perfect simulation. So would you get in? Would you choose a life of perfect happiness if it meant giving up your real one? It's tempting, right? To escape the harshness of reality, to avoid disappointment, heartbreak, fear. But what do you lose if you do? There's something raw and beautiful about living the imperfect, messy, unpredictable life we actually have. The moments of pain shape the moments of joy. The struggles teach us who we really are. The experience machine challenges us to think, is happiness enough if it's not earned? If it's just a trick? Is it better to live a real life with all its flaws, or a perfect dream without the truth? Maybe what makes life worth living isn't the destination, but the journey, with all its ups and downs. So, as you drift off tonight, I invite you to embrace the reality you've got. Feel the weight of your own story and rest knowing that even in imperfection, there's beauty. Let's dive into something pretty strange about who we are, something that makes us question the very nature of the self. Our brains are split into two halves, two hemispheres. They look alike, but they often do very different jobs. In some rare medical cases, when someone has severe epilepsy, doctors perform a surgery that cuts the bridge connecting these halves. What they found was incredible. Suddenly, it was like there were two separate minds inside one person. One hand might button a shirt while the other unbuttons it. One side could answer a question, while the other looked confused. In some experiments, each half even had its own preferences, ideas, even desires. So here's the big question. If your brain is split in two, and each side can think and feel differently, which half is really you? Or are you both? Or maybe neither? This shakes up the whole idea of a single, unified self. Maybe who we are is more like a committee, a conversation between parts, sometimes in harmony, sometimes in conflict. And maybe that's the human experience, a beautiful, messy dialogue going on inside our own heads. So, as you lie here tonight, feel the complexity inside. Know it's totally okay to have conflicting feelings. It's okay to be uncertain. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to be whole all at once. Sometimes being human means carrying contradictions, being a collection of stories and parts that come together to make something new. So breathe deep, let those parts of you rest, and trust that whatever is you tonight, it's enough. What if I told you there's a machine hidden in some secret lab, or maybe just imagined for now, that can do something unthinkable? Not teleport you, not clone you, but rebuild you, atom by atom, thought by thought. A machine that scans every detail of your mind and body, your memories, your dreams, even that scar on your knee from when you were 5. Then, without hesitation, it destroys your original body. Gone. Erased like you never existed. But in the blink of an eye, across the room, a new you appears. You sit up. You speak. You laugh. You remember. Everything feels normal. But something's off. Something haunting. Because here's the question that creeps in like a shadow. Is that really you? Or is that just a perfect copy, playing the role, wearing your face, acting like nothing happened? If your original self was obliterated, and this new version just kept going, what actually survived? Is your identity just data? Are you your memories? Or is there something deeper, something no machine could touch? Maybe you're not one single thing. Maybe you're a story, a flickering light moving through time. Maybe the self isn't a solid object, but more like a river, always changing, always flowing. And if that's true, then what does it really mean to be you? To continue? To survive? Are you just your brain? Or are you something else entirely, something invisible, something sacred, something that slips through logic like a dream? And maybe, as you lie here tonight, you don't need to solve that mystery. Maybe it's okay not to know. You're here. You're breathing. You're aware. And that's enough. So let the questions float. Let your body soften. Let the strange beauty of existence wash over you. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are a moment in motion. You are safe. You are whole. You are home. Ever feel like no matter how hard you try, you're always just a little too late? Like something is always just out of reach. You chase the dream, the peace, the closure, and yet it slips right past your fingertips. You get close, but never quite there. That's not just in your head. In fact, it's one of the oldest paradoxes in philosophy. Imagine this. You want to walk across a room. To reach the door, you first have to walk halfway. Simple enough. But now, from that halfway point, you have to go halfway again. And again. And again. Every time you move forward, you cut the distance in half. According to the ancient Greek philosopher Zeno, this means you'll never actually arrive. Because there are infinitely many halfway points, and you're always stuck in between. Sounds ridiculous, right? But when you really sit with it, when you slow your mind down, you realize something deeper, something unsettling. What if this isn't just about walking? What if it's about time? About existence? Is time truly one smooth flow? Or is it chopped into infinite slices, moments stacked so tightly, we can't even see the gaps? What if motion, your every step, your every choice, is just your mind stitching together still frames to create the illusion of movement? Think about that for a second. What if you're not moving through time, but stuttering across frozen fragments of it? Reality isn't as solid as it feels, is it? That unease you sometimes feel at night, the weight in your chest, the sense that something isn't quite real, that might be your mind brushing up against the glitch. The fracture in the system. Maybe the world isn't continuous. Maybe you aren't. Maybe you are just a pattern, a rhythm, repeating slightly differently each time. And maybe that's why so many of us feel stuck, like we're chasing something that's always a few steps ahead. Not because we're broken, but because we were never meant to arrive. We were built for the halfway, for the never quite there, for the pause between motion. So tonight, as you lie there in the hush of your room, blanket wrapped, heartbeat slow, let go of the need to finish the race. Let go of the idea that you're supposed to arrive anywhere. You're not late. You're not lost. You're exactly where you're meant to be, somewhere in between. A still point inside infinity. A breath suspended between two eternities. And in that stillness, you are not lacking. You are not behind. You are whole. Because wholeness isn't a destination, it's a rhythm. A dance between becoming and being. Between the step and the silence. So tonight, be the half step. The space before the next thought. The quiet between your breaths. And know that even if you never reach the door, even if you're always just halfway there, you are still part of something infinite. And that, in itself, is beautiful. Have you ever felt like your choices don't really matter? Like no matter what you decide, the outcome stays the same? You try to change, to break old habits, to rewrite your story, but somehow, life keeps folding back into the same patterns. It's as if something already knows what you'll do before you do it. That unsettling thought. It's not just paranoia. It's the foundation of one of the most haunting thought experiments in history. Imagine a being, immense, godlike in its intelligence. A being so powerful, so precise, that if it knew the exact position and momentum of every atom in the universe, it could predict the entire future. Every thunderstorm, every revolution, every kiss, every heartbreak, and yes, every thought you will have, every word you will speak, every decision you believe you're making freely, already mapped out, like some divine script written in the language of physics. This is Laplace's demon, and it doesn't just question free will. It shatters it. Because if everything obeys the laws of nature, then nothing is truly free. You're not choosing, you're unfolding. Not deciding, but playing your part in a movie that's already been filmed, frame by frame. So what then? What does it mean to live a life where every twist, every turn, every breath is already known by some cosmic calculator? Are you even you? Or just a puppet made of stardust, dancing to a rhythm you can't hear? It's heavy, isn't it? The idea that your hopes and regrets might be nothing more than inevitabilities. That even this moment, this listening, was always going to happen. But before you fall too deep into that void, pause. Because even within that darkness, there's something oddly comforting. Maybe freedom isn't about breaking the system. Maybe it's about how you experience it. Even if the script is written, you still feel the lines. Even if the road is carved, you still walk it. You suffer, you laugh, you choose. And that experience, the inner world of it, that's something no equation can replicate. It's uniquely yours. Maybe being human isn't about controlling the path, but finding meaning in the walk. Like a river flowing through ancient stone, you follow a course, yes, but you shape the journey. You leave ripples. You leave echoes. So tonight, as you lie beneath your blanket and the room fades into hush, allow yourself to feel both the chains and the wings. You are both prisoner and poet, actor and audience, destiny and dreamer. You don't have to fix this paradox. You don't have to solve the equation. Just rest in it. Let your breath slow down. Let your muscles soften. Let your mind untangle. And in that stillness, maybe you'll discover a deeper kind of peace. Not the peace of control, but the peace of surrender. The quiet power of knowing that even if you were always meant to be here, this exact second, your experience of it is still real, still sacred, still yours. You ever get that weird feeling, like you're slowly fading from the inside out, and no one even notices? Like something's slipping, but you can't quite put your finger on what? You're still showing up, still doing the things, still smiling when it counts. But underneath all of that, something's off. Like you're unraveling, thread by thread, and nobody sees it. Not even you, until it's already halfway gone. That quiet kind of falling apart. It's not just some random mood swing. It's deeper, older. It's woven into the way reality itself works. Let me show you what I mean. Picture a pile of sand. Could be anywhere. A beach, a desert, maybe just a quiet corner of your imagination. It's a heap. Obvious, right? But what makes it one? Is it the number of grains? The way they stack up? The vibe it gives off? Now, imagine taking one grain away. No big deal. Still a heap. Take away another. And another. Nothing changes until it does. Keep going, grain by grain, and eventually, that pile disappears. But not all at once. Slowly. Quietly. And here's the kicker. You can't really say when it stopped being a heap. There's no single moment. No sharp edge. Just a slow fade into something else. That's the Sorite's paradox. But really, it's also life. Because the same thing happens with us. There's no obvious line between being fine and being burned out. Between childhood and adulthood. Between holding on and letting go. Life doesn't hand us clear boundaries. It hands us blurred transitions. Maybe that's what you're feeling tonight. Like you're in between. Like you don't quite fit who you were, but you're not fully sure who you're becoming either. That's okay. That's human. You don't need to have it all mapped out. You don't need a label or a final form or some big aha moment. You are not static. You're not supposed to be. You are a heap of experiences, shifting, a story in motion. And yeah, it's messy. But that mess? That's where growth lives. So tonight, let the mess be. Let the blur be. Let the questions be. Sink into the stillness. Breathe. You are not broken. You are becoming. And that's more than enough. Take a moment and picture this, just for a second. You're inside a room. Nothing fancy, no windows, no noise, no distractions. Just a man, a closed door, and a stack of papers covered in strange symbols. Outside that door, people are sliding in notes, questions written entirely in Chinese. But here's the twist, the man inside? He doesn't know a single word of Chinese. Can't speak it, can't read it. Still, he's got this massive rule book, an instruction manual written in a language he does understand. Using it, he matches up the symbols, puts them together just right, and slides answers back under the door. And to the people on the other side, it looks like he's fluent, like he really gets it. But does he? That's the heart of the Chinese room thought experiment, brought to life by philosopher John Searle. It doesn't just poke at artificial intelligence, it dives straight into the question, what does it really mean to understand something? Is it enough to mimic intelligence, to fake it so well that no one notices? Or does true understanding need something deeper, something real inside? Now think about yourself for a second. When you read a story, talk to someone you love, or just watch a sunset fade into the horizon, you're not just processing data. You're feeling it. You're living it. You don't just see colors, you feel their warmth. You don't just hear words, you hear the emotion behind them. But imagine a machine that could respond just like a person, flawlessly, but never actually feel anything. What would that mean for the idea of consciousness? Of being aware? Of being truly alive? There's something haunting about that idea, that something could imitate life so well without ever actually being alive. And yet, maybe that's what makes us turn inward. What is it in you that makes your experience feel so real? Is it your brain? Your body? Your soul? Or is it something you can't quite name, a kind of inner spark that can't be coded, scripted, or simulated? As you lie here tonight, in the stillness of your room, let yourself feel the mystery of your own mind. You are not just thoughts. You're not just the words you say or the roles you play. You are something deeper, something beautifully, unrepeatably alive. And that thought? It should bring a quiet comfort. Because no matter how complex the world may seem, there's something in you, something shining, that no machine or system can ever copy. So breathe easy tonight. Let that light inside you glow. Let it wrap around you like a soft blanket. You don't have to figure everything out. You just have to be here. And that, my friend, is more than enough. You and I both look at a ripe apple. You say, that's red. And I nod, yeah, that's red. Same word, same label. But here's where it gets weird. What if your experience of red is actually what I'd call green? Like, what looks warm and vibrant to you might feel cool and fresh to me. But we'd never know because we both call it red. Language covers it up. It's like we're speaking fluently, using the same words. But underneath, we're seeing different realities. That's the heart of the inverted spectrum thought experiment. And it raises this quiet but kind of unsettling question. How can we ever be sure that what you experience is the same as what I do? Maybe your blue feels like my yellow. Maybe your sweet hits my brain like bitter. But because we were both taught to use the same terms, we just assume we're on the same page. Isn't that wild? That deep down, our worlds might be completely different, and we'd have no clue. It really makes you realize how personal perception is. No two minds ever see the world in exactly the same way. And yeah, maybe there's a bit of loneliness in that. Like, even in shared moments, we're still kind of alone in how we feel them. But there's something beautiful in it too, because it means your world is entirely your own. A private canvas of color and meaning that no one else will ever see quite the way you do. And mine is mine. It reminds us to be patient with each other, to stay curious instead of certain, to listen instead of jumping to judgment. Because what's obvious to you might feel foreign to someone else, and that's okay. So as you lie back and settle in for the night, think about the colors you carry inside. The unique shades of your memories, your dreams, your quiet thoughts. Hold them close. Let them be yours. And let it be enough that your experience is deeply, beautifully your own. There's a kind of peace in that. A soft safety in knowing that, even if no one else can fully see it, your inner world matters. So breathe deep. Let yourself drift gently through the spectrum of your own mind. And rest. Tonight, let's sit quietly with one of the deepest mysteries that's puzzled thinkers for centuries. Consciousness, that feeling of being alive inside your own mind. You know what I mean, that private, vivid experience of seeing colors, hearing sounds, feeling emotions, is something it's like to be you. Science has come a long way. We can map the brain's activity, track neurons firing, understand chemical signals. We can even predict behavior sometimes. But there's one question science still struggles to answer. Why does all this physical activity produce conscious experience? Why doesn't it just feel like nothing? This is called the hard problem of consciousness. It asks, how does subjective experience arise from matter? Think about watching a sunset. You can describe the colors, the shifting light, the warmth on your skin. But that doesn't explain what it feels like to be there. The awe, the peace, the silent wonder inside you. How does the brain turn electricity and molecules into this rich tapestry of sensation? It's like asking, how does a song become more than sound waves? How does a poem become more than words on a page? No one really knows. And that's okay, because this mystery reminds us there's something sacred about your inner world. It's not just neurons or circuits or data. It's you, the experiencing self. Sometimes, in the quiet of night, that can feel lonely. The sense that your consciousness is an island, separate from the cold universe outside. But maybe it's also a source of infinite wonder. Because your experience is unique, intimate, and precious. It's a glowing ember of awareness in a vast, dark cosmos. And you get to carry it. Right now, even if the answers aren't clear, even if the mystery never fully unfolds, you have this moment of being alive. So as you lie here, breathing softly, rest in that knowing. Your consciousness is a miracle, a deep, profound gift. Let it hold you gently as you drift into sleep. And know, you are awake, even as you dream. Imagine this. You have a sealed box. Inside is a cat. There's also a tiny, mysterious device that may or may not release poison, triggered by the random decay of a radioactive atom. Here's the catch. Until you open the box and look inside, the cat is considered to be both alive and dead at the same time. Sounds impossible, right? How can something be in two opposite states simultaneously? This is the famous Schrödinger's cat thought experiment, proposed by physicist Owen Schrödinger in 1935 to illustrate the puzzling nature of quantum mechanics. In the quantum world, particles can exist in multiple states at once, a concept called superposition. But when observed, they collapse into one definite state. The cat becomes the symbol of this paradox. Until measured, the cat's fate is uncertain and both possibilities coexist. Now, let's take a breath and zoom out. What does this mean for us? It challenges how we think about reality itself. How often do we assume things are fixed and certain, when maybe they're fluid and unknown, waiting for us to observe, to engage, to decide? It also invites us to reflect on the power of observation, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally. How does your attention shape your world? How does your perception affect your experience? Sometimes, in life, we hold on to uncertainty, unsure whether something is alive or dead, possible or impossible. We wait, we hesitate. The cat inside the box is like that feeling, suspended between hope and fear, doubt and certainty. And maybe the lesson is to embrace the unknown, to sit with the mystery without rushing to label it. Because just like the cat, many parts of your life exist in that twilight zone, not yet resolved, not yet defined, and that's okay. Tonight, as you rest your head, think of yourself as the observer, not just of the world, but of your own inner experience. You have the power to witness, to acknowledge, to gently hold whatever comes. And in that witnessing, things begin to shift. The cat may be alive or dead, or maybe both, or maybe something beyond our current understanding. And so are you. In this quiet moment, floating between waking and sleeping, allow yourself to be present with the uncertainty. Let go of the need for answers. Let yourself simply be. Breathe softly. Feel the gentle rhythm of life, uncertain, mysterious, and beautifully alive. A ship, an ancient ship named Theseus's ship. Over time, one plank is replaced, then another, until every single part of the ship has been swapped out. Is it still the same ship? It's a puzzle that has fascinated philosophers for centuries. Now, let's bring this classic into the modern world. Imagine a teleporter, a device that scans every atom of your body, destroys the original, and rebuilds you perfectly somewhere else. You step in, and moments later, an exact copy of you appears at the destination. But here's the question. Is that copy you? Or just a replica? Did you survive the teleportation? Or did the real you die back at the starting point? Think about it. Our bodies are constantly changing. Cells die and regenerate every day. In some ways, you're not the same person you were a year ago. So what makes you you? Is it your physical form? Your memories? Your consciousness? Or something else beyond all these? This paradox makes us confront what identity really means. Is it a fixed, solid thing? Or a flowing river, always moving and changing? It invites a gentle awareness that who you are isn't just what you see in the mirror, but the whole unfolding story inside you. Tonight, as you lie here, think about your own life as a journey of change. Every breath, every thought, every feeling slowly replaces the past. Yet something about you remains, a sense of self that weaves it all together. Maybe identity isn't about unchanging parts, but about continuity. A thread running through your experiences, memories, and moments. Or maybe it's about acceptance, letting go of the need to be the same person and embracing the beautiful mystery of becoming. As you breathe slowly, feel the softness of that thought. You are always you and always becoming. Rest in that paradox. Imagine this. A huge lottery, one of those massive games where thousands, maybe millions of tickets are sold. You hold one ticket in your hand, and deep down, you know the odds are stacked against you. The chance of winning is so small it's almost laughable. It feels like throwing a pebble into an ocean, hoping it will make a wave. Most people would say your ticket is doomed from the start. It's practically guaranteed to lose. That sinking feeling, the quiet certainty of failure, is almost unbearable. You're convinced this ticket won't win. But here's the twist, the paradox lurking beneath this bleak outlook. If you believe your ticket will lose, and that's true for every single ticket out there, then doesn't that mean you believe the entire lottery will have no winner? Yet that can't be right. Because lotteries, by design, must have winners. The whole system depends on it. This contradiction is what philosophers call the lottery paradox, a puzzling problem about how we form beliefs when faced with overwhelming odds and tiny probabilities. It forces us to confront how easily we slip into rigid certainty even when things are far from certain. Think about your life. How often do you hold strong beliefs based on what seems likely, even when there's no guarantee? Maybe you believe a friend won't call back, or that a risky plan will fail, or that a painful feeling will never fade. Those beliefs can weigh on you like heavy chains, convincing you that the worst is inevitable. And yet, every once in a while, the impossible happens. The call comes through. The plan succeeds. The pain softens and dissolves. The paradox shows us that doubt and certainty aren't always clear-cut. Believing something is unlikely doesn't make it impossible. It reminds us how fragile our grasp on truth really is. This puzzle invites a quiet humility, a gentle reminder that certainty is rare, and the world is full of surprises. It encourages curiosity instead of dogma, openness instead of stubbornness. When we loosen our grip on what must be, we create room for wonder and new possibilities to emerge. So tonight, as you lie there in the dark, breathe deeply. Feel the tension in your chest loosen as you release the need to have all the answers. Let yourself rest in the mystery of not knowing. It's okay to hold space for doubt. It's okay to sit with uncertainty. In that space, life can surprise you in beautiful and unexpected ways. And for now, you are safe. You are held. You are enough. Breathe in. Breathe out. Rest. Have you ever stopped to wonder how we really know what's true? Like, what does it actually take to prove something? Think about this. You want to prove the statement, all ravens are black. Seems simple enough, right? So naturally, you start looking for black ravens. Every time you spot one, it feels like a tiny victory, a little proof adding up. But then, logic throws you a curveball. It says that even seeing something completely unrelated, like a green apple, actually confirms that all ravens are black. Wait, what? How does a green apple have anything to do with ravens? This strange idea is called the paradox of the ravens, or the paradox of confirmation, and it shakes up how we think about evidence, proof, and belief. At first, it's confusing, maybe even frustrating, because it goes against what feels natural. We tend to think that to prove all ravens are black, we have to look only at ravens. But the paradox reminds us that the way evidence works is much more complex and nuanced. It challenges us to rethink how we see the world and how our minds connect the dots. In fact, it reveals that sometimes the things we don't notice, the green apples, the things not related directly to the statement, play a quiet but powerful role in shaping what we believe. Let's break it down a little more. When you say, all ravens are black, you're really saying something like, if it's a raven, then it's black. The opposite of that statement is, if it's not black, then it's not a raven. So when you see a green apple, something that's not black, and not a raven, it fits perfectly with the idea that no non-black things are ravens. In a strange way, that's confirming the original statement. This paradox highlights how indirect evidence can still support a claim, even when it feels totally unrelated or counterintuitive. It asks us to be more aware of how we gather and interpret evidence in our lives, beyond just the obvious stuff. It reminds us that our minds are wired to find patterns and connections, sometimes where we least expect them. But beyond the logic, the paradox of the ravens has a deeper, almost poetic lesson about how we approach certainty and truth. It tells us that certainty isn't as solid as we might want it to be. Even something as simple as all ravens are black isn't proven just by looking at ravens alone. Instead, proof is a fragile thing, a mosaic made from many pieces, some big and obvious, others small and subtle. So as you settle down tonight, take a moment to think about the small pieces of evidence in your own life. Those quiet moments, the tiny signs, the gentle nudges that shape what you believe about yourself and the world around you. Maybe there are your own green apples, things that seem unrelated or unimportant at first glance, but that hold a kind of hidden meaning or truth. Maybe the things you tend to overlook or dismiss quietly confirm parts of your story that you haven't fully recognized yet. Allow yourself to be curious about these moments. Let go of the need for everything to make perfect sense right now. Life, like the paradox, is filled with mysteries and indirect clues that don't always line up neatly. And that's okay. There's a certain calm that comes with embracing uncertainty, with sitting with the mystery rather than rushing to solve it. Breathe slowly and feel the peacefulness that arises when you accept not knowing everything. You're safe here, in this moment, in this breath. The world may be full of paradoxes and puzzles, but right now, there's only this calm space, a quiet refuge from the need to have all the answers. So next time you find yourself frustrated or confused by how the world works, remember the paradox of the ravens. Remember that sometimes, the things that don't seem to fit, the green apples, the odd little moments, are part of the bigger picture. They're part of the subtle evidence that shapes your beliefs and your reality. And maybe, just maybe, embracing that mystery with an open heart is the most honest way to live. Because in a world where certainty is always just out of reach, curiosity and openness become the greatest tools we have. Picture this, a heap of sand, sun-warmed and steady, sitting right there in front of you. It feels solid, real, a definite thing. Now imagine picking up just one tiny grain. Does it still count as a heap? You'd probably say yes. Take away another grain, and then another, again and again. But here's the catch, at what exact moment does it stop being a heap? There's no clear line, no magic grain that turns it from heap to non-heap. This puzzle is known as the Sawrite's paradox, a strange whisper from the edges of logic and language, showing us how sometimes words just can't keep up with life's blurry, shifting realities. It's a reminder that many things, like who you are, how you feel, what you think, don't come with neat edges or sharp definitions. Maybe you felt it too, that weird discomfort of not knowing exactly where you stand, when one feeling fades and another begins, or who you really are from one moment to the next. This paradox invites you to soften into that uncertainty, to see life as a slow, unfolding process, and that's okay, because it means you're not locked into rigid labels or boxed in by strict definitions. You're a living, breathing becoming. So right now, breathe deep and let go of the pressure to be exact or perfect. You are the space between the grains, the quiet pause between thoughts. You are whole, even in your constant, gentle change. Let's quietly explore a deep and gentle question about connection and understanding. A question about how we really know that others feel and think like we do. Picture yourself alone in a quiet room. You see only yourself, hear your own thoughts, feel your own emotions. But outside that room, there are others, people who smile, speak, laugh, and cry. How do you know they have minds like yours? How do you know they experience the world with feelings, hopes, and fears? This is called the problem of other minds, a philosophical puzzle about empathy and certainty. You can't step inside another person's mind. You can't truly live their experience. You only see their actions, their words. But deep down, you believe others are conscious beings, just like you. That belief is the foundation of trust, love, and community. It's what lets you reach out, care, and connect. And yet, it's also a mystery. How do you bridge the gap between your own private experience and the unknown inside another? Tonight, as you settle into bed, think softly about this, about the invisible worlds inside each person you know, about the silent thoughts and feelings they carry. You can't see them, but they're rich, complex, real. This realization invites compassion. It reminds you to treat others gently, because their inner lives are just as vivid and real as your own. And it invites patience, because sometimes the minds around you feel distant or different, and that's part of being human. So breathe slowly. Let yourself rest in this knowing. We are separate and yet connected, alone and yet together. You are not truly alone tonight. Let's drift into a strange and cosmic thought, a paradox about existence, chance, and what it really means to be real. Imagine, somewhere out there in the vast universe, a fully formed brain, just like yours, suddenly appears. No body, no past, no history. Just a brain, floating alone in the void, complete with memories, thoughts, and a sense of self. This is the idea of the Boltzmann brain, a mind-bending possibility born from the laws of physics and sheer probability. Some theories say that given infinite time and randomness, brains like this could just pop into existence by pure chance. They believe they're real people, living real lives, but everything around them would be nothing but illusion. It's a strange, unsettling idea because it pushes us to question what's truly real. How do you know you're not a Boltzmann brain? How can you trust your memories, your experiences, your very sense of who you are? This paradox nudges us to look deeper at reality and consciousness. It reminds us that our understanding of the universe is still incomplete, mysterious, and wide open. And maybe that uncertainty is a kind of comfort, because it leaves room for wonder, space for awe, space for mystery. So tonight, as you lie here, breathe deep. Feel the vast cosmos stretching all around you. And remember this, whether you're a Boltzmann brain or something else entirely, you are here now. This moment of awareness, this spark of life, is real. And that is enough. Rest in that truth and drift gently into sleep. Tonight, let's gaze into the vast, quiet sky and wonder about one of the greatest mysteries of existence. If the universe is so unimaginably big and old, and life is possible on countless planets scattered across billions of stars, then why haven't we found any signs of alien civilizations? This question has puzzled scientists, thinkers, and dreamers alike for decades. It's called the Fermi paradox, named after the brilliant physicist Enrico Fermi, who famously asked, "Where is everybody?" Think about it for a moment. Billions upon billions of stars, each with their own planets, many potentially harboring the conditions necessary for life. The chances for life to arise somewhere out there feel enormous, almost inevitable. Yet, when we listen to the cosmos, there's silence. No signals. No signs of radio waves or messages traveling through space. No visitors dropping by to say hello. Just vast, deep quiet. This silence is strange and haunting. It invites us to face some profound and maybe uncomfortable questions about life, loneliness, and the future of intelligent beings like ourselves. Maybe intelligent civilizations are incredibly rare, so rare that we are among the first or the only ones to reach this stage of awareness. Or maybe advanced civilizations destroy themselves before they ever figure out how to reach out across the stars through war, environmental collapse, or some other unseen fate. Perhaps they exist, but they are too far away for us to detect, or their ways of communicating are so different from ours that we simply don't recognize their signals. And then again, it's possible that the universe is teeming with life, but we are not looking in the right way or at the right time. Considering that we might be alone in this vast universe can feel both humbling and a little lonely. It stirs a deep sense of isolation, a reminder of how small and fragile our existence truly is. But there's a quiet beauty in this truth as well, because it means the life you carry inside you, this very moment of being conscious, of thinking, feeling, and connecting with others, that is an incredibly rare and precious treasure. Your thoughts, your feelings, your joys and struggles, your moments of love and kindness. These are unique sparks of life shining brightly against the endless cosmic silence. So tonight, as you rest your head and look up at the stars, allow yourself to feel both the vastness of the universe and the wonder of your own existence within it. Let the mystery of the stars inspire a quiet awe and a gentle peace. Remember, you are part of a universe that still holds countless questions, questions that call to the curious, to the hopeful, and to those who dream. And in that mystery, there is a gift, the gift of wonder, of curiosity, of the unknown waiting to be discovered. So breathe deeply, feel the calm embrace of the night, and let yourself drift softly into sleep, wrapped in the timeless story of the cosmos. Thank you for joining Dreamphilos tonight, where we explore the mysteries that stretch beyond the stars and within our minds. If this journey sparked your curiosity, subscribe and stay curious with us. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep wondering, and remember, sometimes the questions are the most beautiful part of the story. Good night from Dreamphilos.